Приветствуем нашего еще одного кейноута Сузи. Она к нам приехала из Чехословакии, или как это называется? Из Чехии. Sorry, we are Soviet guys, so we think that it's still one country. Итак, Сузи будет говорить о том, как работают коммуникации и почему это важно на самом деле при организации процессов. И, соответственно, обсудим, как должны строиться коммуникации для того, чтобы вы стали, скажем так, Agile не только по процессу, да, но и по духу и по мышлению. Поэтому аплодисменты Сузи и Agile Communications.
Добрый день. That's the only thing I can say in Russian. I've been learning at school Russia for 1 year, but unfortunately I forgot everything, even the reading of these nice letters. So if I look at it for like 1 minute, I can read it, one letter by letter. So sorry for that. I try to improve next time, but technical difficulties again. Can we do something with that in the production? Well, I can talk in between of that. The communication is very important. And with this movement to Agile, we need it even more, because we said, well, we don't need this documentation. We are not working in a linear, straightforward process. We are Agile. So we can just talk to each other. That's me, that's my Twitter. And during this talking, we hope we will understand each other and we will make our process more flexible. But this talking to each other is not always so simple. So at the beginning, I've got some short exercise for exactly 1 minute. I would like to ask you to talk to someone which is sitting just next to you, or just 1 row after you, or something like that. And try to look back first in your head and think about past 4 weeks. And think about the most difficult challenges which you've got regarding the communication. 1 minute, starting right now. It's about you trying to share experiences with the person next to you. So guys, can I get your attention back, please? Was it enough? No? How's that possible? I told you you will have 1 minute, and I explained you what you should talk about, and you were not able to finish it? That's what's happening in your work every day. They just said, well, the discussion about the backlog items must be time-boxed. You have exactly 3 minutes to discuss single user story, then you can go on. But the communication and discussion is not such easy. You cannot plan it. You have to continue until you understand. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And it's better not to talk at all. And it's not just about talking and listening, as it might feels like that. And I would like to ask our production for the first video so you can see how the communication can look like if you're just talking and listening. Guys, the video, please. So that was the communication. And you can say it's just because of some accent. Or it's just, the problem that it was a thing. It was not a human being. So the elevator cannot really listen carefully. The elevator was listening well. It was listening the same way as your product owners and customers are listening. They're trying to understand what the hell are you talking about. But they don't have a clue. They just don't understand each other. Those technical guys sitting at their computers, trying to program something, these testers trying to find the bugs, and those customers who are trying to solve some business issue. So it's not just about talking and listening. We were missing the slides again. Shall I do something with that like this and Apple TV? Maybe? Okay. Now it's on. So it's about understanding. And this is how your brain works. And your brain is the most difficult tool anyone ever invented. It's full of these wires, some pictures. Sometimes you have a bulb here, and when you understand, it's just good light, and then you see, oh, now I see, now I understand it. Now I got to your point. And sometimes you have these shortcuts and saying, no, this is a danger. We cannot go more. It's based on your experience. It's difficult, so if you should process all the inputs which coming to your brain through your ears and eyes, you would be tired in 1 minute. It's not bearable. So what the brain do? It just got some experiences here. This was dangerous, so don't do it again. And don't do similar things. There is a shortcut coming from here to there saying, no, we don't need to process anymore. It's not a good idea to go to the street when the cars are crossing. It might not be good, and so on and so on. So it's about the experiences. And based on your experiences before, your brain creates a picture in your head. So, for example, imagine that you are calling a friend. You are coming to some Asian Agile conference. You've been to Asia before, right? But you're calling a friend there and saying, well, are you using the trains? And he's saying, well, yes, of course. We are using the trains. And then, what's your expectations? Well, my last train, which I used in Asia, apparently, was this one in Japan. Well, we call it Frog because of this front here. It's running 300 kilometers per hour. It's completely quiet, more quiet than a plane. It's fast. It's going to the platform at exact 1 second. There are even painted these steps so you can stop in the platform. And when the train comes, the doors are exactly in front of you. So you're going in, and in 30 seconds, the train is gone, together with you. They are giving a beer and a green tea in the train. So that's a very nice experience. So I expected something like that. Why not? I'm going to Asia, to the conference, so it will be like that. I'm pretty sure about. And what went possibly wrong? I asked if they are using the trains. Of course they did, and see how many. And that's a problem. You might say, well, have you read the guidebook? Or you might know already that there is some difference between India and Bangladesh and Japan. Well, but there is no guidebook. How shall we as a customers talk with our Agile or IT teams? Nobody wrote such a guidebook because it's difficult. So all we try to do is to just back to our Agile teams. We try to minimize this misunderstanding. We try to create some kind of a context and express what we really need. Visualize it. And we try to write user stories. And by these user stories, the only thing which we want to achieve, and that's the goal, why to write any good user story, is to create a picture in your head. So when I go to clients, they often ask me, did you get a picture in your head by this user story? Is it good? And I say, well, not really, because the user story which is saying, well, as a reader, I want a book, so that I have a book, is not a good user story. There is no why, there is no real who. We don't have a clue why we are doing a book. We just, okay, it's about the book. So the user story should create a picture. So if I give you an example of another 2 user stories, it's like, even if it's high level, it creates a picture. It's, for example, as a director, I want an informating system so that I can control my employees. It's directly shifted the informating system which you might have in mind when I started. It's about controlling my employees. So most of the features would be focused on, well, what time exactly did you came to work? How will we measure that you are really productive? And all these things. And then the next time we might have another customer, and then he's saying, well, as a director, I want an informating system so that I can see if my company is profitable. I don't care about the exact time when my employees are coming to work. I just trust them. But I really would like to see which customer is better for our business and where are my money coming from. So that's the way what we try to do. We try to create a picture in a people's head. We try to bring the context. And we try to understand each other. Therefore, we do all the backlog groomings, where we discussed for long hours about the backlog items. And sometimes even, especially when I go to huge organizations, they are just saying, well, you know, we have these business requirements. So why shall we possibly do the user stories? It's just a waste of time. In an old world, we've got these business requirements. So we wrote a document, send it to the IT over there, and that was all. We've been done. And now, you came here with all this Agile, and you are telling us that we have to write those user stories, and then we have to come far away to our IT teams to explain. It's lots of work. It's time-consuming. We don't have a time for those things. And then we don't want to have those long discussions. They're always asking, why do you want it? Well, because our customer needs it. That's the most common reply when I came to the company and asked, why are we going to build a feature? Oh, that's a customer request. So don't think about it and just do it. But that's not working. Then they are still missing the context. Sorry. It should be somewhere here and here. And here, and here. And then we go to the IT team. So we are saying, well, okay, the communication with the business might be difficult because of a different context. Might be, that's true. And then you go to a single individual developer or a tester. He is sitting next to his computer at his cubicle or small office. And all the day long, writing a code, or a testing, or whatever. Don't really talk to each other. Don't really talk to anyone. So why shall I talk, possibly? And about what? I've got this requirement, so I'm just the coding. I'm just doing the coding. I don't care about anything else. And you go even more far. So you say, well, you know, there is a Scrum, and the Scrum is based on team cooperation and something called self-organized team. And so you guys, you should sit together and talk about things. You don't need those documentations. You don't need to write an analysis in order to be done the code and then test it. You can just cooperate. And how it is? Well, they are not a real team. They are trying to talk to each other, but it's a pure chaos at the beginning. They don't have a clue. And they are complaining, of course. They don't like it. Because they are saying, in an old world, we've been just working, coding, and that's how bad it is. And now with all this Agile, you just say we should talk, and we don't know what is it about. It's not efficient, this talking. And then you have this team, and they are saying, well, no, we don't like this talking much, so how about sending an email? So they are sending emails. But if you send an email and stop talking, then you are losing 80% of the value from the communication. If you just recall the video from the elevator, Just these two guys. They've been not really shouting. If you don't see the picture, you will miss part of it, because that person, he was like, could you please? So he put his face together with the communication. The elevator could not see him anyway. But he was still trying, could you please be so kind? And then it was like 11. And all these things, he was putting stress by his body. So all that you are missing with the email communication. You are missing 80% of the information, but you still feel it's much more easier, and it's asynchronous. So you send a question there, then in next 8 hours or something like that, the person will read it, based on his experience, understand it, but then something may change during that time. So for example, I've got one product owner, and he was just resending those requests from the customer, and he was quite busy. So he came every morning to his office, sit at his computer, read one email from his customer, and resend it to the software team and say, we need this. And then 1 second later, he read another email. It was actually changing the previous requirement. I said, oh, no, we need that. And he was able to send 10 emails about the same thing at once. And the team was, of course, complaining, because they were saying, he's just resending those emails. We don't need that product owner. He's useless. So the communication over the emails is not really a good one. So if you can, try to avoid it. Then, of course, you can call to each other. That's still you are missing the picture. But at least you are hearing each other at the same moment. So it's much faster. And somebody mentioned today the chatting. Again, at least it's at the same time. But instead of chatting, maybe you could just call to each other, or you could just say something, or stand up and walk to someone's desk. It might be better. And then you should be able to recognize the differences. Because, for example, this one is a developer. And he's talking about creating some nice shapes. We will create these two shapes. It will be good as a logo, for example. And this one, she's a tester. So she's saying, well, OK, these two shapes, I like those. Are they talking about the same thing? Not quite. But they left the meeting and said, well, we have a new logo. We just agreed on that. It's two shapes. So the testers, they are good, and they see the differences. So I have this slide on a testing conference, and they've been able to find all the differences between of the colors and position and the border and stuff like that. And sometimes these kind of people are feeling to be annoying, because they are all the time coming to the team, and now they are not just throwing the bugs into the quality center. They are just saying, you have a bug there. And you have a bug there again, it's not working, so please can you come here and check it? So that's happened at the beginning when the people start talk to each other. They see it from their perspective, and they are trying to share that experience to the rest. So you have to learn it. And there is another kind of a strange thing regarding the communication. If you try to express yourself by the voice and tell somebody something, you have to make up your mind. So one of the things is that it's good if you explain it to even this small animal. It doesn't say much, but still, it's good for me. So whenever I have some new talk, I try to tell it to someone, and to tell it to someone in the mirror or myself in the mirror feels strange. If I have at least some audience, it feels more real. And there is another thing which says that the teams with most diversity are the most efficient. So I would assume that the teams which would have this small pet inside of the team will be better in the communication, because they've been got used to understand that the people, and of course this small pet, are different. They have a different observation, different point of views. They have a different context, so we should be precise, and we should be really trying to understand each other, not just throw the information over the wall. So that was kind of one part what I wanted to tell you. And then there is another part, which is even more strange. I always call it a communication conspiracy. So the communication is extremely powerful. If you are good at communication, you can do incredible things. So in the next moment, I will show you some video where Darren Brown is going to buy such a nice diamond ring. And he's going to the shop with a blank pieces of a paper instead of money. So he has exactly the white sheets of paper with the size of money. And he's giving that money to the shop assistant, and he's saying, okay, thank you, and giving him the ring back. And he's leaving with the ring out of the street and disappearing somewhere. So can I ask you for a second video, please? So finally, he found it out. And if you think about it, why is that? It's again back to one of the first pictures with the people's brain with all the wires. It's so difficult to process all the leads. So you can't make it with your brain. So once you recognize some kind of a pattern, you just say, okay, I knew it, and just go that way. Don't even think about it anymore. And that shop assistant, he was the whole his life at work. I mean, he's just having the customers, and they are giving him money and saying, it's fine, take it. So he is taking the money and giving them a product. And he did it 3 times in the same video. I just showed the last part. The first part, he was buying some kind of a grocery successfully. Second time, he was trying to buy a hot dog at a street stall. And he was not successful, and maybe part of it was that shopper, he was from some kind of Asia, and he was not really good at English, so he was not so easily to be distracted. And third time he came to this room, to buy this diamond ring. So the brain, once it recognized something which we already knew, which is hard-coded here, and just say, well, oh, I knew that, so let's go that way. Don't even think about that. We do 90% or even more things just automatically. We don't think about that anymore. And that's the problem of the communication, that we are recognizing some kind of a patterns. And once we recognize them, we just play the game. It's not really conscious. Just play the game. Any idea what could be this couple of letters? What does it mean? Okay, I'll ask you later. I tell you a couple of stories how this pattern is hard-coded. And it starts when we've been small kids. So just imagine you are a small boy or small girl, and you are running around the house, and then at one moment you just break some vase. And you are standing in front of this nice vase and thinking, what shall I do? And then your mother came from the other side and said, who broke the vase? Well, I'm not happy about that. And then you as a small kid are saying like, oh, that was a cat. It was running around. It's not my fault. But what happened, the mother, she saw you running around. She knew exactly that it was you, but she was giving you a possibility to excuse, to lie. And then, of course, the next part is playing. Oh, you are really a bad kid. Who could ever grow from kids such like you? You are lying, and you are really bad, and you are not allowed to go out with your friends anymore for a week, or something like that. And the kids start crying and saying, oh, what shall I do, and so on and so on. So that was the beginning of this pattern. Then you grew up, and you bring this nice pattern with you. So you have a house. It's nice, it's working, it's fun. And then finally one day you have some problems in your bathroom, so you have to call the plumber. So what do? You just say, well, can you give me some estimation of your work? And he gives you some estimation of the parts he has to buy and so on and so on. And then you ask him, well, are you sure that there will be no extras? And he said, well, no, there usually are no extras, so it's easy work, I do it every day, so it will be $400, for example. And that's good. That's easy. So he came, and he came even very fast because he feels you really need his help and he should be fast enough, otherwise you have water everywhere and so on and so on. So he came, fixed it, and somewhere in between of that work, he found out that there is some extra valve which has to be bought. It's it costs about $4 extra, so he just bought it directly and fixed everything because it was necessary. And then he sent you an invoice. And there is a list for $400 items which you agreed before, plus $4 extra. And then you see it and say, no, that's not possible. And calling to the plumber saying, no, that's not possible. We agreed there will be no extras. And he said, yeah, but you told me that everything else is working, and it was not, and I have to fix it, otherwise you would have really a poor installation and have to call me again in half a year. He said, no, you are not a good person, and I will send somewhere some message to your manager or write on some blog that you are not good worker. So finally, the poor plumber gave up. But that's the same thing which you do in your software teams, right? You are agreeing with your customers on fixed time, fixed price models with a fixed functionality. But the functionality is never really fixed. And you all knew that anything might happen. And it may be different. And things are changing. You cannot commit yourself to these things, but you're still using it. And you are waiting, the customer is waiting for you to say, you are bad programmers. Next time I will order some other company. I will outsource it to India. They are better. But of course it will be exactly the same. It's just about blaming each other. So that's one pattern. Anybody has some idea what these letters could mean? Now I got you, son of a bitch. Yes. So that's the first pattern. We are using it very often. I have another pattern here. And I need 2 volunteers to demonstrate. Even you will follow it, hopefully. Anybody who would like to play such a game? Can you come here, please? One of you will be a manager, a really strong boss. And the second one will be the worker. Who wants to be a manager? Manager?
Okay, I will work.
Thank you. You will work. So you're the manager. May I ask you to leave this room for just 30 seconds? I'll call you back. I just have to give him instructions. Thanks.
He will hear everything. There's translation.
Okay. Translation. Can we ask them to not translate it for him? No. Okay, whatever. Can you please hide the pen somewhere? So it's not visible and not easy to find, of course. Okay, good. So you're a strong boss. Your key goal is not really to help him. You'll be saying, I've got a task for you. Search a pen for me. It's a blue pen, so go and do it fast. And once he starts to be searching, you say, don't even think it's here. I would not be so stupid to hide it there. And if he goes, of course, here, you will not really say anything. Clear?
Okay, yeah.
Good. It's fast.
Can we speak Russian or it is better in English?
You can speak Russian, but then I can't do any follow-up on this activity, so you would have to tell me then.
So I'm your boss. You need to say hello.
Hello, boss.
Yeah. Georgi.
Hello, Georgi.
Okay. I have hidden a pen here, and you need to find it very quickly.
Okay.
You need to start right now. What are you waiting
the
for? Look.
Around.
Go and look. Yeah.
Okay. Can you give me any tips?
No.
Okay. So you're not helping.
Yes, I'm not helping you.
Can you search
I need you to do this work very quickly.
Okay.
And I don't have any time to
Yes.
wait.
Okay.
What are you doing? Where is my pen? I'm already waiting for half a minute.
Yes, no, you need to wait more.
No, I cannot wait more. Where are you going?
Then you need to help me.
No, I don't. I'm not helping you.
Okay, then you're not getting your pen.
Well, okay. Thank you very much. You can stay here. And can I give him a microphone? How did you feel?
It was awkward. And I didn't know what to do, and I was asking for help, and I didn't get any. But I tried to do something to improvise, and it didn't end well. So in the end, I just dropped this and said, okay, you do it yourself.
Yeah, if you tell it to your real boss, strong guy, he would just say, you are fired.
Okay, I will find
But
another.
that's okay. That's perfect. How did you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable as well,
Yeah, because
because you are supportive people and so on. But what happened in your organization? Thank you very much. I can talk now.
Okay.
Thank you. By the way,
I nearly fell.
therefore, it was the reaction of the audience. So the thing is, you could do one extra thing, which sometimes the people who are playing this role, they are doing. You could do one extra thing. You could stand up here and say, ask the audience, could you, someone of you, please help me? But what it would happen, possibly? Just think about it. Would you help him? Really? Well, we play it on several conferences already. And most of the people ask the question to the audience because they feel, okay, they will help me. It's really strange. I feel really uncomfortable. I don't like searching a pen. I don't know where. So it's, can you help me? And they say, no, we can't. Because they say, well, we didn't want to break the game. We didn't want to really, we thought it's not allowed. And we always say with my colleague who is often presenting with me, well, we didn't put any rule in place that you are not supposed to help him. The only thing I told was the manager is not supposed to help because he's a strong guy and he needs you to work, but otherwise it was not there. And it happens in your offices, in your work environment. So often the manager gives some order, the person is asking for help to the manager, and the manager is saying, oh, it's your job, I don't have a time to really working with you. So, okay. I got a really bad task, I don't know what to do. And the rest of the programmers are sitting there and saying, well, I have my task. I'm quite glad I don't have his task. But they are not actively standing up and helping that person. So that's one of the things which we try to break with Agile. That's one thing which we try to break with Scrum. Do you know what's the name of this pattern? See what you made me do. Cool. So about these patterns. So you have them hard-coded in your brain. You just follow them without really understanding it, and at the end, it's just some kind of frustration. They both didn't feel good. They didn't like it. They've been planning because I asked them to be on the stage. But you play it unconsciously, even if I don't ask you, in your work environment. So the only thing you can do about it is to recognize a pattern and say, no, no, I'm not playing. I will behave differently, and I will break the pattern. And once you recognize all these patterns, it's just about your attitude, if you decide to break it or not. And as the last part, to kind of summarize it, it's about a different view. So if you talk to someone, you should try to understand what's his view, what might be his goals, what he might need, what he's afraid of. So for example, if you try to persuade someone, your manager, to move to Agile, I have 4 managers here on the slide. And I can play the manager for you because it's easier than I don't have to explain what this strong guy is, really. Anybody who would like to sell Agile to me? Or you can just shout, if it's in English.
It's cool.
It's cool. No, we don't do cool things at work. Of course, we are working, we are a good company, and we are here to be working, not really to have fun.
It will allow you to deliver things in time and on budget.
Ah, that would be good. You should be doing it already for 2 years. So how are you going to achieve it?
You will have more revenue for shortest time and
More,
could be less.
more revenue and less. Well, that sounds good, but how?
Simply.
Simply. Okay, we'll do only what customer needs, and well, that's. Oh, you are not wasting our money. That's good, but how would you like to achieve it? By Agile?
I will go into discuss details, and generally you agree.
There is one more thing you could tell this boss about Agile. What this person is afraid of? Change, lose of control was somewhere from here. Lose of control. So what are you going to tell him? Because I, as this manager, feel like, no, Agile is about this self-organized team, and I don't like self-organized team. I am the boss. I can go to your everyday meetings and control your everyday work. Oh, that's I like, but that's not what you would like. I guess. Maybe you could just say, well, you know, there are some nice burden charts for the product, so every week we will show you how far are we from our goal, how far are we from delivering. And you will get even more control than now when all these plans are just not really feasible. Another person. I like this one better, actually. I like new cars and all these new things. So what are you going to tell such a guy as your manager? I don't need to worry about anything. Your new process will be cool. Well, that's good. Anything else? Will you tell such a guy that, you know, there are some burden charts and you can measure the velocity and compare it? Not really. Yeah. Then there is the next one. So, I heard about your team, and I heard something that you would like to try Agile, but it feels kind of chaotic for me. So what are you going to tell? I don't like it much.
We will reduce your efforts, and we'll let you more time to do your own stuff.
Ah, okay. I really have so many tasks to do and so many reports. And will you generate my reports, some of them at least?
We will give you transparency, and you will be able at any time to track our progress.
Really? That's what I was trying to achieve all the time. I was trying to get the progress in every single day, and I'm just so tired from all these papers. But I need to have a control, you know? Of course. Okay, good. Cool. And the last one is a boss, which actually, a couple months ago, he was your colleague. He was a programmer. He was doing a code, writing a test or something like that. He was one of you. And then the company grows a bit, and he was promoted. He still feels like better in the coding than really in a management role to be a strong boss. What are you going to say to that person?
It's cool. You're one of us. We'll be the same friendly team
You'll be the same friend with the team as it used to be. Sorry, I can't hear from the back. The team will be responsible for the delivery, and you are part of our team. That's a good thing.
Programmers actually care about other programmers.
Yeah, programmers care about the programmers, so he would like it. And you could discuss with this guy, most likely some practices, like we will do the code review and we try the pair programming because it's fun and we believe it's more efficient, and we try to do the test-driven development. But to tell about this pair programming to the guy, which was here. Oh, so we are going to do the pair programming, right? Pair programming. So you two of you will be working at one machine at the same time, so you'll get half of the salary each. No? And you will be just chatting and having fun. No, that's not about it. I don't like those new things. So that's quite important to think about what the person who is standing in front of you really feels it's important and where are his values. Otherwise, you are not really successful. And it feels like easy. It feels like piece of cake. Of course, we all knew that. But then you came to your offices and go to your managers. And the only thing you are saying, well, we would like to try this Agile, but, because of Agile, we need a product owner who is responsible, and we will be self-organized, so we are going to decide ourselves about everything. And we need this, and we need that, and what the poor manager is going to tell. Well, no, I don't like it. We are too big. We are a corporation. We cannot change anything. It's just like, no, I don't like it. It's not what we want. But the thing is that these team members, they are just too focused on themselves. It's good to know what you as a team would like to do. But once you try to persuade somebody outside, you have to think about his word as well. And finally, I have a last slide here. And all I've been talking about today, how to use it and what to do with it, is here in your head. So you are the only person who is able to say, well, no, I don't like to follow those patterns. I don't like to feel not comfortable with not helping someone. I'm going to change, and I will break those patterns. And I will be more looking at the other people's heads as well to understand them. And I will make sure we all have the same picture, so we will draw the requirements and we will discuss. It's all in your head, and you can make it. It's very easy. And if you like some exercise at the end, you can stand up. Okay, unless I have at least few people to stand up, then see. I'll show you what to do first. So then you repeat it. You will point in front of you, close your eyes, and turn right. Then you open your eyes, and remember the spot where you've been pointing. You can repeat after me. Point in front, close your eyes, try to not do some other. Move to the right. Open your eyes. Remember the spot. It's quite hard to do it in such a big crowd. So, and now, second round. Just create an image in your head of a spot which is just a little bit more far, little bit more to the right. And repeat it again. Point here, close your eyes, turn around, and check if you can do that. Try it in some empty space next time. Thank you very much. And if you have some questions,
Нет вопросов. Есть.
At the beginning, you told that we should communicate more in reality in phone, but sometimes we need more time to analyze, to write correction phrase. So, I mean, in our sphere.
Mm-hmm. Well, what we did, we sent the only thing which we finally been sending over the ocean because we've got distributed teams to US, for example, was just the really technical solution. So, for example, we called to each other and said, discuss how are we going to implement it or how are we going to change it. And then we sent an email with the particular piece of code or technical description. But it still was not like, oh, what do you think about that? Send an email. Wait a couple of hours. Oh, I don't really think it's a good idea because of that. Oh, I mean this thing. So that's the part which you should kind of cut. You will need to write sometimes something, but it's like 10% of your communication.
Еще вопросы? Guys?
A bit of skeptical comment. You told that breaking the pattern is a good way to achieve something new. I strongly agree. I strongly support this point of view. But if you break the pattern, I suspect that you will come out with some new patterns for you, and I guess that patterns are important for people. This is why we have patterns. So is this really feasible to break such patterns always?
I think it is feasible, and you've got several other patterns which you usually follow, which are good. But once you always come up with this feel like, oh, I'm the only one, I'm again in this situation, and I don't like it. Then you break it. Of course, if you like the situation which draws you, then you can keep it. But this pattern and these games, how is it called, communication games, are quite often in your relationship, for example, with your wife and with your kids. And some people can kind of say, okay, I'm not going to argue about that, so quit this pattern. And then they have quite long marriages, for example, and some other people will just follow the patterns and then they got divorced. So it could be something like that. So there are good patterns and wrong patterns.
Еще есть вопросы, коллеги? Нет вопросов. Тогда thank you, Zuzi.
Thank you.